Hello, I want to welcome you to this webinar. My name is Connie McDaniel. I am a Crown Diamond in Young Living, and this webinar is hosted by our site, wisechoiceliving.com. We are so grateful to have tonight's speaker, Joan Barice, who is a medical doctor, and I saw Joan for the first time in 2007 as a keynote speaker. And right away I connected with her heart. I was so impressed by her passion for helping people and the experiences that she went to and the perseverance she had to have. And so I was just thrilled when she agreed to share her great knowledge and wisdom as well as her story with our audience. Joan Barice received her medical degree from Stanford, her master's in public health from Harvard, and an honorary doctorate from Northwood University for outstanding efforts in humanitarian services and medicine. She has been on the forefront in advancing the acceptance of safe and effective alternative approaches to healing, which can be integrated with Western medicine to improve quality of life and the outcome of many patients. She is Clinical Associate Professor in Preventative Medicine at Nova Southeastern University College of Medicine and Chair of the Palm Beach County Health Department's Preventative Medicine Residency Advisory Committee. She is board certified in internal medicine, public health, and preventative medicine. She is ASAM certified in addiction medicine and has special expertise in chronic pain management and clinical aromatherapy. She spent a year in China learning Qigong, acupuncture, and herbal medicine. This is going to be a treat for all of us, and so take out some notes and get your pencil ready, because I think you will be as impressed as I am. Before we begin, though, we must make a disclaimer. The information shared here is intended for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice and cannot substitute for the advice of your own physician. So we welcome Joan Barice.
Thank you, Connie, for inviting me and making this webinar possible. And thank you, everyone who took the time to be here. I am delighted to share my story with you. I'll tell you how I was introduced to Young Living essential oils and how they literally gave me back my life. How they gave me a whole new perspective as a physician and a patient. And how they gave me a tool for healing as well as much joy as I share them with others. I'll tell you why I love essential oils and use them every day of my life and why I consider them a treasure of great value. I am absolutely convinced of their enormous healing potential. I know they can relieve suffering and transform lives for the better. I know because I have experienced it myself. And I have witnessed and heard the testimonies of people that I've shared with who have been helped. Literally, I have seen one miracle after another, and I am one. My life was good. I had it all. I had love. I had meaning. I was filled with joy. I had a thriving practice. I worked hard, played hard. I had my health, so I thought. I was living my dream. From age 8, I wanted to be a doctor so I could help people. And I was able to do that, to relieve suffering, to restore dignity, and to make a difference to improve many lives, especially for the most needy. I've been recognized for this, but I did it because it needed to be done. I was where I was supposed to be, using the gifts I was given, and doing what I was supposed to do. Everything always just fell into place and worked out. I think it was a God thing. Then suddenly, one day, my whole life changed. I never expected it. I was on my way to Kosovo with humanitarian aid to ease pain and heal illness. It was November 8, 1999, in Atlanta Airport. I bent over to get my bag to board Swiss Air and lost my urine and the use of my legs. I was paralyzed. My spine had collapsed, cutting off my spinal cord. I had to have surgery very soon or risk being in a wheelchair with a catheter in my bladder for the rest of my life. I had hoped the surgery would solve the problem, but it wasn't to be. I'll tell you about it, but first want to show you some pictures from my life before this happened. I liked climbing mountains, but my favorite sport was jumping out of airplanes. After 250 jumps, jumping with Tom Cruise, and mastering every skill, I decided I'd had my fill. Made my mother happy. I'm looking in the next one over an inlet of the Arctic Ocean. I would go to any lengths to see a bird or wildlife. One of my favorite places is the remote Canadian Arctic wilderness north of the Arctic Circle. There is a naturalist lodge called Bathurst Inlet, wonderful people, and an Inuit Eskimo colony there. The lodge is open during a few short weeks of the Arctic summer. It's a frozen, forbidding place the rest of the year. Pristine land. You can even see untouched campsites with stoves and human skeletons of explorers who died in their search for the Northwest Passage. I hiked the tundra with other enthusiasts from the Audubon Society, National Geographic, a resident botanist and geologist, and the Bishop of the Arctic, who had translated the Bible into Inuktitut, the native language. Here's a peregrine falcon, a red-throated loon. You have to be careful not to step on birds' nests. There are no trees this far north. Here's some caribou and a musk oxen. A wonderfully prehistoric-looking creature, isn't he? The scenery was beautiful. One day I took a ride in this plane to see some of the sights from above. While we were in the air, we lost our only engine. The pilot said, "Prepare for a crash landing, and if I believed in prayer, this is the time to do it." I did, and I did. I saw my life in fast motion, and what was important, people, not things. I found out I was not afraid to die. Felt sad for my loved ones, and marveled about what a beautiful place this was. My last thought before we hit was not so profound. If we survive, I have an apple and a granola bar in my backpack. We ended up perched on rocks in a whitewater rapids with melting ice at the edge of the tallest waterfall in the area. We made it out of the plane and waded through the ice water to the bank opposite the one where a white wolf was pacing back and forth protecting his wife and children. Now, nobody files flight plans or monitors radios. This is the wilderness. Cold and wet, I was just grateful to be alive. Then, on the horizon, came a helicopter to the rescue. Exxon Corporation, setting up a bush camp to drill for gold, heard our distress call. I was never so happy to see people that destroy our environment. This is the Leshan Buddha. I lived in China for a year studying the ancient healing art under a lineage holder master. I learned Chinese enough to get by. And here's the Great Wall. And here is the Qigong master on a stage. Perhaps you can see those bottles of water up there around his podium. They put it there to capture his healing energy. Huge crowds would come seeking healing. Some people were carried in and walked out. I felt a rock-hard tumor in one lady's belly and felt it gone in minutes. In university research, the master killed cancer cells in test tubes with the energy from his hand. We traveled all over China, visited sacred mountains, and slept in Buddhist temples. I'm back in Palm Beach treating a man with Bell's palsy that wouldn't go away. The risk with it is that you can harm your eye because you can't close your eyelid. Medicine tried but could not help him. It may be hard to see, but it's a picture from a newspaper, and there's a lot of light between my chest and hands and around his head, but you're looking at the left side of his head and his left ear. I put in 3 acupuncture needles in his leg, anointed him with oils, and said a prayer, and he was able to close his eye right away. The palsy never came back. Since that time, I've discovered that I rarely need to use acupuncture or other complementary treatments I used to use all the time. The oils are usually sufficient. This is not the Eiffel Tower. It's my back after surgery with rods and screws and cages. And as you can see, I am all screwed up. And I wasn't finished. The first surgery eventually failed, and I had to have it done over again, only this time including more of the spine. But first, I had to have a brain tumor removed. One of the many blooming Arctic flowers. And back to how I was introduced to Young Living oils. My first surgery was in 1999. 3 years later, I could only walk short distances and sit for 5 or 10 minutes at most. I was in constant, excruciating, all-consuming pain. Doctors said I would never be able to return to my work, and my pain and disability would relentlessly progress. I prayed for healing, for strength, for just enough relief that I could get back to doing some work. I had so much to give, and I couldn't even help myself. And I was getting one after the other serious health problems. By 2002, I was almost completely broken, and I prayed for death. It felt like the spirit that had filled me with joy was gone, and rot was taking over my body and soul. Again, I prayed desperately that somehow I would be able to do what I loved the most, serving and helping others. The best of medicine could not help me do that. Then my next-door neighbor, Frances Fuller, suggested I try her Young Living oils. I did not believe they could help, but I had nothing to lose, and took her up on it. She shared her reference guide and her diffuser and her oils. I know now this was an answer to prayer. It was amazing how quickly and effectively the oils worked. Within an hour of diffusing geranium and using Endoflex, my spirits lifted. It felt like a black cloud left the top of my head and went right out the window, never to return. It was only then I realized just how depressed I had been. By the next day, months of continuous bleeding from my uterus completely stopped. I did not need the hysterectomy doctors said had to be done to stop the bleeding. That day, I had a glimpse of the possibility of getting well. I became determined to do it, whatever it took. I didn't know how or what to expect. It wasn't easy. Sometimes it was an hour at a time. But the oils provided a wonderful option to start with. Without them, I could never have done it. I wish I had known about them long before. I would have used them myself and in my practice. Well, oils of Pain Away, peppermint, and lavender went a long way to ease the back pain. And when I started Ningxia Red, it gave me energy for the whole day, just taking 2 ounces twice a day. Before that, I crashed, exhausted by pain at noontime. Now I was like the ever-ready bunny. When I took 3 or 4 ounces at a time, it helped relieve pain in 20 minutes and lasted up to 4 hours. When I could not stand the pain another minute, I learned a new way to deal with pain, getting it out of my head, keeping my emotions out of it, getting into my heart, and feeling the love. It transformed the pain. Pain does not rule my life now. A lot of the time, it's not even there. I used to have all kinds of limitations, and they just keep disappearing one after the other. Richard Bach said, "Argue for your limitations, and you'll surely have them." I expected healing and all kinds of good. As I continued to use oils every day, my allergies went away, I stopped getting colds, and they worked for just about everything I used them for, and my body, mind, and spirit kept getting healthier. I'm looking better and feeling younger than I did before this happened over 12 years ago. With the help of my faith, these oils, sheer determination, and a lot of work on myself and living a healthy lifestyle, I did get back to doing volunteer work with the poor, teaching doctors about preventive and complementary medicine, publishing papers in medical journals, and a limited practice. It was part-time, but I was back with life full of meaning, and I so grateful, treasuring every precious moment. I am doing far better than anyone ever expected. To tell you the truth, I feel terrific, wonderfully alive, literally exploding with joy. I love these oils and Ningxia Red. Yes, I have challenges. Everybody does. But with my faith, the oils, and taking care of myself, I can deal with them. I looked into the science behind the oils in depth. There's a lot and more ongoing. I had heard about frankincense and myrrh, but now when I read scripture, I pay more attention to stories of how these ancient healing oils were used under God's direction. Modern science backs up a lot of the ancient uses. I am convinced they are safe and effective when used as intended and when only the best quality of oils are used. My family and friends couldn't help but notice the incredible difference. They were happy for me and wanted to know more. I gladly shared the oils with them. M-Grain worked for my mother's migraines. One after the other, my family and friends started signing up and using the oils, enjoying their many benefits. They are great for first aid, better than drugs for relieving minor aches and pains and headaches, clearing up a toenail fungus, preventing MRSA infection, helping us deal with stress, which underlies so many of our diseases today, or helping us clear negative emotions that can make us sick and hold us back. I have used them all for these things, and they work for me. They work for families, and they work for children. Whenever you need to, you should consult your child's doctor, but using oils early on may help them, prevent them from getting worse, save on doctor visits and unnecessary antibiotics and other drugs. I have seen them work for colds and earaches, stomach aches, and asthma. One friend's baby got whooping cough. Some children locally had died from it. She told me he couldn't sleep, had such respiratory distress that it was frightening. She took him to the doctor, who had nothing to offer. I shared lavender, eucalyptus radiata, and melaleuca ericifolia with her, and how to use them. She told me that that same night the baby was breathing better and was able to sleep. Her two other boys got it, but they had the oils. They did just fine. I care for a number of lonely elderly people. They respond to loving touch and the oils. They love the aromas and the nurturing. It is gratifying to see how they experience better relief from pain, insomnia, and anxiety with oils than they had with potent drugs which they tolerate poorly. As the oils work and they are able to use less drugs, their minds clear. Their balance comes back. Their heartburn gets better, as does their quality of life. And they win at bingo using abundance oil. I received a letter from that Catholic Charities facility thanking me, saying that since I had been there using my complementary remedies, the number of ambulance calls, transfers to hospitals and nursing homes had gone down significantly. I have seen the oils help improve, sometimes dramatically, difficult conditions that are not responding to medical treatment, like chronic pain, neurological problems like neuropathy and MS, drug-resistant infections, including flesh-eating bacteria and MRSA, and so much more. I can share more with you perhaps another time. I especially recommend using oils in the context of lifestyle changes that support health. Using oils regularly and taking care of ourselves can assist the healing within. It is better to address the underlying cause, which treatment with drugs does not usually do. The oils have properties that can be useful when used as a natural treatment for a particular individual who has their own unique history, emotional traumas and body terrain and susceptibilities. And because true oils are living substances, and I can feel that the energy, and they resonate with me, they follow the laws of quantum physics. Our intention and prayers used with them can influence the outcome. I prefer holistic and natural whenever possible. There is a place for medicine and drugs and surgery and doctors, but we need to recognize when it is necessary and when it's not. That's another topic. I use Young Living oils because they work. I know them. I know what to expect, and I know they will be safe when used appropriately. I know they have all the natural ingredients that God intended to be in that plant remedy and nothing added. According to research, there are a lot of oils on the market that are not what their label says they are. I will not recommend any oils I do not know. They may be okay, but if not, they could potentially do harm and not help. I am here to help people and do no harm. What I know and use and trust and recommend is Young Living oils. They gave me back my life and continue to make it more wonderful, so why should I want to use anything else? I went to a Young Living convention in Utah, thrilled to be able to fly and sit at a meeting, something that seemed so impossible the previous year. I visited the farm and saw the loving care and expertise that goes into everything from planting the seeds to distilling the oils. I am impressed with this good company, its people, its integrity, and its finest quality of oils that I know will not be compromised. Their mission is to honor our stewardship to champion nature's living energy, essential oils, by fostering a community of healing and discovery while inspiring individuals to wellness, purpose, and abundance. That certainly fits with my purpose and mission. I am happy to be a part of this company and especially delighted to be gathering other healers to work with who have the same mission. I can think of nothing I would rather do than share the oils and help people in the process to achieve their highest potential. I know from my own experience and that of others I have shared with that healing with these oils in some cases goes far beyond anything that can be explained by modern medicine. For example, a chronic wound that had not healed despite months of care in a wound clinic and hyperbaric oxygen and high tech healed over a weekend with oils. Patients with metastatic cancer healed. Whole persons being healed, body, mind, and spirit, not just their disease. I believe it's because there's a spiritual connection made. Medicine tries its best, but it only accepts science, and of that, only what it can see and measure. I don't think it accepts quantum physics, which has been accepted for many years now. Medicine has a lot of knowledge and facts, and that's important. But true healing comes from wisdom and love. We know the source of that. The oils have been used since ancient times to facilitate prayer and meditation and for healing. Plants and oils were given to us by our Creator for medicine and for worship, among other things. They are imbued with His wisdom and love. Expressing a need, sending up a cry for help, might also spark this connection. Our thoughts, our emotions, our conscious decisions, our sheer determination, our beliefs can affect our outcome. A colleague told me about a woman whose doctor told her she had cancer and had 6 months to live. No one can know that. That had to be based on statistics, facts. We are not statistics. She died on schedule in exactly 6 months, but the diagnosis was wrong. She did not have cancer. I believe healing is always possible, and as I use them with love and prayer and anoint with these precious oils, I have been blessed to see healings that I can only explain as a gift from God. God tells us in Scripture, above all things, He wants us to prosper and be in good health. We get sick because we do not live the lifestyle He intended for us. We are self-healing, but there is a limit to the abuse our bodies can take and still heal. But He gave us the intelligence and He gave us the ability to heal ourselves and others if we would just listen and recognize and learn how to use these gifts. I believe these oils were a gift from God to me, and I am so grateful that Francis took the time to share them with me. I would not like to think of my life without these oils. Our society, our world, has gone so far off track that I believe these oils are a gift from God to all of us just when we need them the most. There is too much suffering in the world. There are people out there who do not know about and need these oils. There are limitations to medicine. Other people are using potentially harmful oils without any kind of guidance. We have something very special, something with enormous healing potential. I think everyone has a right to know about them, and I feel an awesome responsibility to share them with as many people as I can. I hope you do too. Thank you for being here. I wish you joy and wellness, purpose, and abundance. God bless you. I love you.
Joan, thank you so much for being our guest today. You are truly inspiring. And I don't know about our audience, but I'm just very inspired to share because, as you said, it goes to the body, mind, and spirit, and there's great value in that. If you have found value in what Joan had shared, she is willing to send you a copy, and for $10, I think it's a valuable tool so that you can share with someone who couldn't be on this webinar. And for those of you who would like to share with many people, she's offering 10 copies for $70. I am so grateful for the gift she gave us in listening for free today that gives such value to others. Please watch for her upcoming webinars and seminars, and we hope you will join us again. Thank you for being here.